All right, y'all. Welcome back. We're here for episode 6 of Power Talk. I'm here. The whole crew's here today because Mo is, of course, returning consistently, but Lucas has returned after a 1 week hiatus. So we're gonna bust his balls for missing a week today. But everybody, how's it going,
It's going, man. It's going.
sir?
He asked you
I
how it's
don't
going, Luke.
appreciate that. I don't appreciate the bust balls part. I'm like Benny. I pop up when I need to.
Oh man, no,
Look,
you
look,
didn't.
look.
No, you didn't.
Before we get into episode 6, Inside Man, as always, if you have not watched this episode, please check out our previous episodes. No, we're going deep diving into spoilers and everything. So just a disclaimer, this is your moment now that you want to cut this off and listen to our old ones. I will come back to this after you check out episode 6, Inside Man. But man, I gotta say, dude, when you hear the previously on Power, like it's always the hype for me, but man, it was a little sad seeing Proctor in those scenes, man. I was like, damn, my man Proctor, man. You wasn't here, and I was the one, obviously, in denial that Proctor would ever be the one to get got. But
I remember saying Proctor would get killed. I know I did.
I know
don't
for sure
remember
I
you
was the
saying
one that
that.
said he
I don't
wasn't going
remember
to
you
be
saying
killed.
that.
But yeah, they got my man Proctor and seeing him and realizing he wasn't gonna be on this episode. It was all surreal. It was all surreal. But I gotta say this too. I wish I had got this person's name, but the person somebody left a comment on the last episode, and he was spot on about some things that we missed, and I'm literally gonna have to give this person credit.
I was so mad because I read the comment.
Yeah,
That's
but I
all I'm
mean,
saying.
but you've seen the show already, though. I'm saying, oh, you mean last week you seen it? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a spoiler. It was just a really good prediction, and I think that I won't even fake. I still wouldn't have picked that up, and the
No,
person was
no.
spot on. But
Hold
Vincent
on.
and
What was the
Tariq,
prediction? What was the
Vincent
prediction?
and
I think
Tariq working together, and this person said Tariq is in on that kidnap, and I was like, huh? I was like, that seems like a stretch. Like he was
like
spot on
I didn't
about
think
everything.
personally because I don't think Tariq is that intelligent, so I can't see it.
The angle came from nowhere. It
Yeah.
is
It's a
very
power angle.
it
It's
is
a
a
power angle.
power angle for sure. I did not see that coming at all. But God,
Is,
within the
is
first
that a
2 minutes,
thing we're gonna start saying now? Power angle.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
sort of, I guess, right? But man,
Like Marvel science, we have power angles. Shit that makes no sense at all, and
and
you just
yeah,
got to
you're
go
right.
with it. Got to go
Yeah,
with it.
especially time travel, Marvel science,
Yep.
like.
Mm,
But
If
yep.
yeah,
all else fails, just say quantum in front
Tariq
of
and
everything.
Tariq and Vincent working together is bananas. Also, too, the other fine print about that little establishment that they got is that Vincent gave these guys 24 hours to get 2 million, and they also established that they're going 50-50 with that. There is no way in
No,
hell
in no
Tariq,
way.
Tariq for any second think he's about to get 1 million.
Dude, it shows how naive he is. Because you think a gangster who can literally just kill you is gonna split $2 million
Yeah,
with you. Come
yeah.
on, son. Come on.
And he knew it was already thin on ice, but come on now, like a
I
Yeah,
million,
mean,
like
because
beyond the other issue of why would he make a deal with somebody who just sold him baby aspirin? Like that makes no sense.
it's like, okay, I'm gonna make it up for you by getting you $1 million, but this is how you gonna do it. You're gonna have to tell my dad to get you two, so I'm gonna get 1 million, and you get your million. Get the fuck out of here,
yeah,
Tariq.
It's a lot of, you know what? I say let's get
Power,
to the episode. There's
power
a lot of
angle.
other unbelievable things in this episode
Oh, a
that
lot.
I just kept on saying power angles. I said, you know what? It's power. That's
You
all
know
I kept
what?
on saying.
It's funny too because I didn't think it was a lot of unbelievable things. There was a lot of stuff that I was like, okay, I can get with that. So I'm just gonna say for starters, before we talk about the title
All
really
right.
quick, I thought this was one of the best written shows this season thus far. And the cinematography of this episode was by far the best this season. The shots that they had in there, a lot of the shots was even symbolic to like other previous episodes. Like that last shot of Ghost and Tommy, right on the water with
Mhm.
him in the suit is very symbolic
Season
of
one.
season one with the advertisement for it. So that was pretty cool. And a lot of the like everything just felt really different about how this episode was shot. It looked really really good. So
Mhm.
absolutely want to point that out. But the title Inside Man, I really don't know what to think of. I don't know how this title applies to this show. I know we talked about it a little bit last week. But for you guys, like, how do you articulate the title Inside Man? How does it apply to this show, this episode, excuse me?
Okay. I guess
You
I'll
want to
go.
go first, or you
Yeah,
want
I
me to
guess I'll
go?
go. I
Okay.
think for me, Inside Man didn't come till the end. Oh, well, it happened twice this episode when we found out Tariq was inside. He was the inside man to the kidnapping, and number two, Tariq was the inside man to the shooting at the penthouse. Those are my two interpretations. Tariq is the inside man in this episode, or Tariq is the inside man. That's all I got. Or it could be, again with the robbery. That's another angle to look at it as with Ghost, and so there's just about three things where you could pull inside man from, and that's all I got. Luke?
Okay. All right. So inside man to me has nothing to do with a particular person.
Huh?
It's a situation. So
Huh?
yes, Tariq was an inside man on the kidnapping. Also, Alfonso was an inside man on the robbery. Unfortunately, he was Tate's inside man. Dre at one point was Ghost's inside man on selling drugs. Tasha's inside
Mm,
man on getting drugs was the other drug dealer. So I think when they use it to say inside man, I don't believe it's pertaining to just one
one
person.
person.
It's pertaining to the situation and the phrase inside man. If you
Hmm.
know that phrase inside man, you know where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't need just one person. All situations tend to have an inside man.
Mm.
And
Right,
I think
right.
this episode just focused on all the inside men in that inside man situation.
Mm.
Hmm. That's actually
Was
pretty
was
good. I didn't see all of that angle. I just saw the three most obvious ones.
was
Think
was his
about
name dropped at all?
No,
I
I
don't think
mean,
so.
other than I think maybe the sergeant went up and said he probably had someone inside. No, they didn't say inside man. She said there was probably someone inside that opened the door, left the door open. That's why she wanted to question Tariq so bad. So they didn't necessarily drop the term inside man. They just,
Yeah, yeah.
insinuated, I believe.
Okay. I was gonna say for sure this episode seeing it twice. I didn't hear it. I don't. I looked for it,
Gotcha.
especially the second time. I didn't hear it, so I was just wondering if maybe something I overlooked.
Gotcha.
But yeah, just a couple of quick things too about this episode because I got some notes and stuff about it. Also, Ghost's jacket in the very beginning, that leather jacket he had on, tight as I don't know what. Like your wardrobe be on point. I was like, that joint,
Oh,
that's good like that.
oh,
But the one thing I think this episode does a lot of is something we've really been talking about, and we get it literally verbatim here, where we do establish that Ghost and Tommy are brothers. They said, "You're not my boy, but we are brothers." And Ghost literally this episode does. He gets like super desperate. I'm not gonna say desperate. He gets like super intuitive when it comes down to the well-being of Tariq. When it's Tariq, he pulls out all the shots. Now, I remember in the beginning of this season, he was financially in trouble. He sure as hell didn't
he ain't
have an
been.
issue getting $1 million in 24 hours. And I mean, this came from him asking Tommy for help. He's asked Tate for help.
Tate,
He asked
yeah.
everybody for help. He even asked Dre. But and even stooping to the point where he's asking people that he wouldn't traditionally ask. I mean, he still was on top of his game, like asking Dre, but bringing in Alphonse as like collateral, but also as collateral for Tate. Like, I gotta be honest. There's just one point I'm gonna talk about when we get to notes. Like, there was points I was like, yo, this man Ghost is wilding out. He's making some stupid moves. But then I was quickly biting my words. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
I see what's going on here. But yeah, there was I think like the psychology of Ghost when it comes down to the protection of Tariq is at his all-time high. I know we give him shit about him not being a good family man at times, but I think he rose to the occasion to kind of make people a little hush hush a little when it comes down to the well-being of Tariq. Like he's literally been on his game for Tariq this episode, and I think he pulled out a lot of stops to do so. Um, but other than that, just a couple other things too. I thought like the conversations between Spanky, 2-Bit, and BG, all of them I think they had one of their best episodes together as far as the comedic relief to everything. As far as Tommy talking about the plan, not asking questions, but I got questions. The whole like, oh, this is looking like an Amazon factory there. They I think they had some really good moments in this episode. Another thing I thought was important too is that they really must collaborate the fact that Ghost did have an alibi. So when it's coming down to Sergeant Rodriguez role,
She is the worst cop in New York City.
wow,
Is she that bad? I think she was
come?
intuitive in this episode.
She
I
is
think she was intuitive.
she is the worst cop in New York City.
I,
Like
I'm listening.
things are not adding up, and she is letting shit. She's letting things blow by that shouldn't. That whole Sax angle with everything should be her only focus. Sax has been around in every incident of everyone dying. One person
Oh
is
yeah, that's
constantly
right.
involved in it,
We talked
and
about that
it's
last
Sax.
week. You missed it.
Yeah,
It's
You
get
missed
him,
it.
get him,
Yeah,
get him.
you missed
But
it.
no,
We talked about
because
that. We
even
did
this
that
week with
already.
even this week with Proctor dying and her supposedly tagging along to look for his killer, it's one person who hates Proctor. So when you look at the whole thing of her saying she's going along to investigate and her looking at Tariq, in all honesty, would never be someone who you would look at ever. It wouldn't make sense as a cop to look at him. You would look at, hey, who are Proctor's known associates that clearly are wishing bad upon him?
We
Sachs.
already know it's not James.
That's
It
it.
ain't
Could
it
be.
ain't
Yeah.
Sax and Proctor. Sax only cares about Ghost. I mean, I get it, but
No. But look, remember how he was talking to her about Proctor and about if we have to take him down to get to Ghost,
Yes.
and you got to put two and two together and say, wait a minute, you are obsessed with James St. Patrick. You have yet to prove anything, even when I tried to direct you away from him, telling you it's a good chance it is not him. You
Bruh,
stayed
why
focused
are you
on him and
talking
you
about
focused on
last
him.
week's stuff, man?
You focus on him, Proctor. No, this is not actually. This is pertaining to this episode because it's pertaining to the detective looking at Tariq. It wouldn't make any sense. So all those little hints she's throwing while Tariq is talking literally makes no sense.
Yeah,
Because
it
if I'm
looked.
going to
You're right. It looked
investigate,
like
if
she
I'm
was
going to
she was
investigate
being
someone,
intuitive, but
exactly.
yeah,
If
it
I'm
made
going to
no sense.
investigate someone for Proctor's murder, it wouldn't be the kid who left the back door open to a penthouse. Nigga, he's a kid. They do that often. They leave doors unlocked. That's not even going to be a concern of mine
yeah,
at all.
but you're also talking as if like we have no clue who did it. So the fact that we know Tariq was inside for it, I mean, she's first of all,
But he knows.
besides her, she know like she is smart because she's not leading on too much, which I was saying last week as Mo would know because he was there. Um, she's not leading so much on. She's doing her job, which I think she's doing her job really good. She's asking the right questions and she's going about
Is
it
she?
ethically, unlike everyone else that's doing it. Sax is not the issue because Sax is backing himself in the wall more and more, and she's aware of that. So the fact that she's just
But,
asking questions is not a bad thing. And on top of
but
that, she
she
still
backed
has to
herself.
do her job.
If
But I
she
don't
backed,
think. I
actually
think
no,
Lucas is
because the
right. She
murder,
doesn't have to
the
do her
murder is not
job.
even. No, the murder is not even her investigation.
Yes, it's not. She doesn't have
It's
to do her
not her
job with this one.
investigation at
Yeah.
all. This has nothing to do with her.
Anything.
So again, if I'm an ethical cop and I am looking into a grand scheme of things, one, why would I just magically decide to take on another case that has absolutely nothing to do with me?
Because
Or technically,
she knows
and
all the
that's the
people that's
then
invested in it.
and then that puts two and two together. If I know all the people invested in this situation, invested in Proctor, why wouldn't Sachs pop up as the person you telling this new cop
That's the
like,
point.
hey, yes,
That's the
we
point.
can talk about Tariq opening the
But
door,
how
but
are we sure
we
she's
need to go
not
all the
Yeah,
way
that
back
door?
yeah.
to
How are
Wait,
we
wait,
sure
wait,
she's
wait.
still not
Let's
investigating sex though?
exactly. I'm about to say Sax is not even in this episode at all. So because we only seeing one side of things and we're seeing her
uh-huh.
pop in and asking questions,
That's my
we
point.
don't know if they're gonna get right to her asking Sax questions soon as it
But that
starts.
but that's my point. She's not investigating this part of the she had nothing to do with this part. If it's as simple, again, when you're cops and you're investigating stuff, you have a cop that goes out to ask the very simple questions because those are the questions that supposedly the lead detective or anything does not need to ask. That's why you send the new black chick in there to have her ask the stupid questions to Tariq
The new black
about why the
chick.
door was
Something's
open.
wrong with you, man.
So once she
Um,
asks those questions, that information is funneled back to her.
I don't.
Making her personally involved in this whole situation, it looks stupid.
Yeah, she
I
had no business being there, in my
no no no
opinion.
no
But I
no.
feel
I mean,
like
by rank.
maybe it's a visual thing. It's like they're trying
That's
to let
it.
us know that
That's it.
she's in.
They needed somebody to try to
Yes,
tie everything together and
yes, it's
just
a
chose
visual thing.
By
her character to do it.
by rank. She brings the new detective. She knows all the people, and her reassuring face as a face that they've already interviewed with. It makes interviews and it makes the process of coming up on people improv to much easier. Saying like, "Oh, we already met. We know this person." She's already had numerous conversations with Tasha. So to come back and talk to Tasha with the new sergeant, you may be able to get more out of just some rando coming there asking questions like,
Actually, it would be the other way around.
"Well, they both
If
know how
you
to
are
deal
a
with each
person,
other." That's
that's
the
what I mean.
thing.
But if you are a person who has dealt with conflict with these people and they don't like you already, you normally bring a fresh face in to ask questions because
So
that fresh
they'll
face
probably
can
talk to
get
the
more
fresh face.
information
Yeah, yeah.
than you. Because the moment Tasha sees her, all conversation stops. Because it's her that's the problem.
I
So if
just
you just bring the fresh face in and have that fresh face ask those same questions, you're going to get different answers because
But
they're
one
going to be
hundred
more
percent,
able to
one
connect.
hundred percent, Lucas. I get what you're saying. 100%. She was on this episode as a visual aid to some of the fans to let them know, okay,
That's
she's still investigating the
that,
rest of the murder.
that's my point. That's what makes her
That's
bad guy.
simple.
It
But
was just
she
we need
didn't
her on
need
this
to be on the
episode to show
episode. But if she
man.
wasn't on the episode, some people won't be able to tie everything together. So she's here because again, as soon as she sees Ghost and she pulls Ghost over, she goes, "Oh, I'm with her because her investigation ties into my investigation."
And
Period.
so
that's the other key part about what
so
Napier
what's
said.
illogical about that when it's explained to you? It's not like we're
But
sitting here.
but that's the
It's
thing.
not like
But that's the
Sax
thing.
who was
Did we
on.
need that? Did we need
Yeah,
to see it?
yeah. That's why I
No,
said that I think her character is very intuitive because of the fact that everything that ties around her is explained. There's literally nothing left to
But you
mystery
could
when
have
it comes
explained
down
it
to her.
with her like in a scene, in a shorter scene, instead of having her in three, four, five scenes. Next episode, her and the black cops sit down and talk about the murder, and you've explained it
yeah, it
right
No,
there.
makes
no, 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 no.
Like her in
See,
this
first of
episode.
all, Sergeant Rodriguez is not even a focal point of this episode. We've already talked about her way too long. The fact of the matter that she was just here as a
But she,
person, as
you,
a person.
I'll
hold
say
up.
this.
I
You understand
I
why
got
we've
you
talked
here.
about her? We've
I
talked
got you
about her
here.
because
Are you sure she's not?
her
Because her
presence
presence
has
is
taken
looming
focus.
over this whole episode.
Yes.
Her
But
presence is this episode.
but her being on the episode is deriving other things out. Like for instance, the biggest part, especially with her being there too, is when her and Tasha and her and excuse me, Sergeant Rodriguez, the lead detective, Tasha and Tariq are all having that meeting. The significance there is that everyone at that table, both new, old, and mom, realized that Tariq is absolutely lying, and everyone's seeing through this
Not the
guy.
black chick.
Oh,
I think the black
Yes.
chick bought it.
Oh,
oh no no
I
no no
think she
no.
no.
bought it.
No. Hold up,
No,
hold
no,
up.
no, 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 no,
Stretch it
no,
out. Stretch it
no.
out further than that. By bringing her even into the picture, it sets up the most unrealistic part of this episode of Vincent bringing Tariq around so the police can investigate him and him being able to sell to his mom that he was being kidnapped by this guy. That's what it brought to me. Her presence
Yes.
allowed that to happen. I don't care about anything else. The little conversation at the table, clearly he was lying. No one cares. He's a kid. Kids lie. But the point that he was able to then sell that lie to his mom that this dude kidnapped him. The only way he can sell that lie to his mom is if the cops get involved. Other
I
than that,
I
Ah.
don't even.
Tasha doesn't believe any of this. Tasha, besides that point, to Tasha, everything would have been on
What do you
Ghost.
mean? When did Tasha ever believe him? She
No, but
No, no,
immediately
no,
you're
no,
knew he
no,
right.
was
no,
You're
lying.
no,
right
no, no,
because
no,
as
She
no.
soon as they
immediately knew he
left,
was lying. She was
the
like, "You
table,
lied." She said, "You lied." As soon as you walked out, there was nothing.
No,
And
no.
then
She
immediately, once she
don't
had a
get
second to
to that
talk to
part though.
Ghost about it, she automatically said he lied right to the cops.
but
Yes,
as soon as they
no.
left the table and she was smacking him,
That
he
exact
turned it around
that
and said, "He's
conversation.
kidnapping me," and it takes the focus of that whole. Yeah, that's the point. Because
Exactly.
if they didn't have that cop meeting, there's that whole thing wouldn't happen like that.
None of that happens.
Because
None of it. She
Tariq
doesn't
isn't
come
telling his
even
mom,
more
"I'm being
appears in her
kidnapped."
life.
We all gonna die.
Y'all two was the main one saying she shouldn't have been in this episode. But now y'all justifying that she should have been in this episode.
No. I'm actually literally pointing to a reason why it makes no sense for her to be in the episode.
Because
that's all I'm pointing.
Because it wouldn't happen the way it did if she was.
That's what I'm pointing to.
We need to move on. Is what we need to do.
Yeah, I'm just saying if that meeting wasn't happening unless she was in this episode. All I'm saying is no one's letting Derek and on top of that, like, let's go to the precinct and have this. Absolutely not. Them two know each other. They know they're not going for that. That's why I like, again, I think when it comes down to Sergeant Rodriguez, I think she's playing a really pivotal part in being one of the actually ethical feds on this case. We know Sachs is very questionable right now. This new person right now, by jurisdiction, I don't even think we're going to see much more than her. And then obviously the head guy is obviously just, I think, is another person that's giving us another angle of how the feds are working, who's also is the reason that Rodriguez is even on this task force team.
Let's end it right here. Just be prepared for the next episode or following episode when Rodriguez reveals her hand that she is more crooked than anyone else. That's what I'm saying. I'm waiting for it because at this point they're playing it up for it to happen. Power normally builds up a character to surprise you, and right now, that twist for people who don't see setups, that will be the most surprising thing to them. Is when you realize that she is working with someone else.
No, I kind of disagree with that too, because I think a lot of people just hate Sachs and don't even realize like Sachs is really the bad guy. I think people just literally hate him because they think Sachs is doing his job the right way, and instead, this guy is literally an assessed fed over Ghost, who's doing by any means to take this guy down.
Would it shock you if Sachs is straight and she's actually the crooked one?
Yeah. Absolutely. It'll be Fast and Furious 5. Fast 5.
Power angle, bro.
Would that be a power angle?
Power angle. I think we should just keep going with power angle until they have to surprise me. Yeah. Not a lot will surprise me.
All right, I'm definitely going to skip a lot. I mean, I'm just going to fast forward a lot of things too. I was talking about a little bit about how Vincent has Tariq playing his whole family. Really don't know his angle about that, but we'll see. I mean, besides just the financial thing, which cannot really be his own motivation, him playing his dad is one thing. Him playing Tasha is a really questionable thing. But him playing Tommy is the biggest, like, what are you doing, sir? But, so anyway, Keisha obviously really loves Tommy. I mean, she's actually texting him like the most overprotective girlfriend ever. Every second that she's not there, she's looking for that guy.
Where you at?
I think it's really cool that Ghost and Tommy have a love-hate relationship, as we see, where they're still not telling each other all their secrets. I forget what Ghost kept from Tommy, but I know specifically Tommy kept the fact that he got a new car from Ghost. But there's
the fact that he got a new car, kept the fact that he knew Tariq was selling drugs.
Yeah. Yep. So there was some.
Yeah. He also kept the fact. He also kept the fact something about he knew something about Tasha. Is it Tasha? Yeah, he knew something about Tasha that he didn't tell Ghost. Oh no, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was Keisha. My bad.
Yeah, something I'll think of it in a little bit. There was something that Ghost for sure kept from Tommy in the beginning. It wasn't really important. And it was a specific detail about something. But it wasn't important in fact.
Oh,
it's
Dre, because he asked him, "Who's your boy that you're gonna use?"
Oh, that's right.
Who's your boy that you? Some guy.
I said Dre. Yeah, I said Dre.
Oh, you did. My bad.
I said Dre. Yeah.
We're not listening to you because you wasn't here last week.
They're trying to work together, but I don't even know who that other person is talking because it was only us last week.
How about if it was me, y'all wouldn't have missed that whole setup of Tariq, because I could have told you that too. But it's fine.
No way, no,
it's fine. It's perfectly fine.
No. Oh, it's easy to say after you know it now.
I've been saying Tariq was extremely crooked this whole season. I have been very consistent on my thoughts that Tariq would turn on this.
It's really questionable for me why Vincent is even trusting this guy. It's but I get it. It's a collateral for the grand scheme of things. But I will say this too. I think this was absolutely Tasha's and Keisha's best episode together because we seen them bump heads, and it just be that. To actually see them to be able to agree to something at a point, to actually show that they are friends at some point.
Nah.
Yes, I agree 100% with that. That
Because
little
because
conversation they had about the drug
Keisha
dealer.
wanna flex all the time, but she don't know what she's doing. Tasha hate her because of her ego, knowing she don't know anything, but she still tried to help her run up her. And then when it came to the eye of money, and that matter of fact, the best girlfriend moment that they had, it was like, Tasha, I know that's not your type, and I know a deep boy when I see one. And then when they said like, I know how to push more product out there, and the fact that their both eyes lit up together, and then the conversations that they had together. I think this is one of their best episodes together as
I
friends that we
think that's
had
going
since
to come
ever.
back to bite Tasha in the butt. Like that thing right there, because I think Keisha is gonna want to get over on her head and pull
No,
Tommy
I
into
don't.
like it's. You don't think
I
so?
don't think so. No, I think
It,
Najee is right. That's so far this season. That's their best like friend moment in the last 2 years. That
yeah.
whole conversation about the D boy, like I know you're tight. That's something a girlfriend would say to you. And then just the endearing look she gave Tasha to try to find the truth about what was going on.
Yeah.
That was the perfect friendship moment.
Right. That's never.
Unlike Tommy and Ghost, where their friendship is predicated strictly on business. They
Yeah.
don't care about each other other than that. This showed that Tasha and Lakeisha still actually care for each other. That one, she would share that, and two, she would ask that. Because if she didn't give a fuck about Tasha, she wouldn't ask that question. I don't give a fuck what's
Exactly.
about happening to.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And then even too, I think Keisha had a moment when she realized that when she was doing the Brooks wrong, and then more of her stuff was arriving, and she was looking at it. For
Mhm.
me, it felt like a moment where she was just like, "Yeah, she's right. This is how you do it. This is how I'm
Not
supposed to
only that,
make everything good."
Tasha's put in work. That's what she
Yeah.
was thinking. Like, dang, Tasha
Yeah.
does put in work.
Yeah. Tate, I got down here. Tate really has no clue how to run business because they got this man's in all the big meetings and everything is just thrown over his head. And he's just
Over
like,
his head.
I don't know how many
He's
times
the
I've heard somebody
worst.
running for office say, I don't know.
He is.
Like
He is
Ramona
Donald
has
Trump of
been
power.
like, yeah. it is
This
it's,
makes no
it is
sense, Jay.
ridiculous. The biggest, boldest point that I got on my paper, which means absolutely nothing ever to anything we're going to talk about today, is that stripper girl came inside that daycare center looking overly so ratchet, but you can't look me in the face and say that she ain't look bomb as hell in the strip club. If that ain't the most
But
greedy
I feel
move
like
I've
every
ever
stripper
seen in my life,
does.
like I'm not even sure if it's the same person, bro.
But come on, I feel like every stripper
You
does
must
that
didn't.
though.
You must didn't see Hustlers. You must didn't see
Oh
Hustlers, man.
yeah, you're right.
That's all
Right.
strippers do that. All strippers do
All
that.
strippers do that. But what I didn't like in
Came
that
in that day.
scene,
I mean, she came in the daycare like she got right off the metro line and came for the kid
Hmm.
and was rolling out. But in the club, I was like, that can't be
She
the
about
same
to get that
one.
money in the club, though.
She even
She
was
like,
walking like more sophisticated and everything.
mm-hmm.
I was
yeah. Did you see the clientele that was in the club? They look up a
yeah.
little upscale,
I'm
So
I'm
yeah, you
telling
got to
you,
talk different.
when it came to money in this episode, when it came down to money, period, in
Look
this
at
episode, everyone was on their A game. Jason, Vincent, Benny, all these guys, everybody when it came down to the money aspect of things, everybody's like,
I think
okay,
this episode showed how resourceful James is.
oh, for sure. I mean,
Like,
that's what I really want to talk about. That's
bruh.
what I want to talk about. And like I said, he was just super motivated when it comes down to Tariq, and like even though he struggled in the beginning of the season with money, it took him nothing.
But somehow,
but
man, he always
but
has
here
money. It's so
but
weird.
here it is. This is the most important. Did it show how resourceful he is, or how resourceful the women are?
I
Because most of the plans that came up with the most money came from them.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a
I
good
mean,
point.
after
I
they
was
lost
gonna
the money, then it switched to the women and how they do
No,
things.
no, no. Even before then, without Tasha and Lakeisha cleaning everything, their plan doesn't work.
yeah, I will
And then,
say I was gonna
okay,
say this felt like the biggest family moment for the core characters when they sat in that room and they put together a plan, and the
mhm.
fact they was just like, oh, I got an idea, or this may not work. What about this? It was it was almost unfamiliar territory that everyone was eye to eye.
Who
Like
came up
Yep.
with the backup plan to hit the
the club, Keisha.
yeah, Keisha. All right, all
No,
right.
Yep.
no,
Was
I
the
mean,
it
club, the
it was
club
Tasha?
was
Tasha,
Tasha.
but Keisha
Tasha
also
came up with the
gave.
club.
But
Hmm.
see, the Tasha, I mean, Keisha's point was ultimately the demise of Alphonse because they said, what
Yes.
if something goes wrong? And Ghost, goddamn, he's so smart. Because when I watched it the second time, when I was wondering, I was just like, why are we having like, and take, I know you used to be a cop back in the day and all this other stuff. And
Right.
the fact that he said that, and I was just like, huh? And then I think about it at the end, he's like, oh, he brought his gun out the safe, which he never does.
Hmm?
He had his gun out the safe. He gave it to him, and there was not a doubt in his mind that he knew how to use it. And that shot that he had to take, no matter how you want to look at it, is a really precise kill shot. And the fact that he was able to put that all together as the backup plan if this goes wrong, because although Alphonse not his man, but Tate knows he knew that Alphonse was a liability for him. So he put Alphonse on it. He could have made Tupid his main guy in there, or anybody else. He even could have had Dre on that if worse be it.
Oh
Also,
no,
I got a
Nah,
point to
because
make.
Tupid killed Dre.
I got a point. Yeah, I got questions about that too. But like the fact that he put that all together and it cleared everybody liability wise,
Did
like
it?
pretty almost. This is one point, but almost like the Tate liability is gone because Alphonse is gone. The one he couldn't trust out of all of them, Alphonse, is gone. And the fact that you're able to the insurance policy, so everyone in the club is good. It makes the club scene still clean. Also, the fact that What's Face didn't have the gun, but we knew who gun it was, which is we'll get to that.
That's my
let's just
point
get to
right
that.
there.
Let's just get to that. Let's just
That's
get
my
to that.
point right there. Uh-huh.
Tommy, so when Tommy and Ghost had the car ride and they was kind of asking each other what was going to be after that, I thought that was a good brother moment. Still
Strap.
emphasizing more
I'm strap.
on the self of each other, showing how their boys were. They both love each other. They know this situation is uncomfortable. That's why they just like, so what you gonna do? He's like, I don't know. What you gonna do? I guess it is what it is, type of thing.
And
I think it was a good
specifying that
moment for
they
them.
know they got one of them have to die. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
But
That's so
but the
one
thing
of them
is,
has to die.
the thing is, together, they are both baloney. They both look at each other like, well, I don't really want to kill him. But as soon as they get around their significant others or whoever, that's when they're on full fake mode. Like Tommy at the end saying that he knows we got to do, that timeout's over. I didn't believe that. Come on, bro. Like you had
I
two.
believe it though.
I believe so. And
I
the key,
believe it
I
100%.
think the key part about that timeout being over was that whole conversation that Ghost had with Benny. You
Yeah.
notice Benny never said who killed Proctor.
Yeah, but
All
he
he
told them.
said was,
He told
no, no,
them.
no, no, no,
No,
no, no,
no,
no,
no.
no,
He
no.
didn't tell him. He
James
said,
told him.
James told them. I know.
Tommy does not know.
Yeah, but see,
And that's how
that's
he was able to put together that Tommy killed Proctor,
yeah, it's the
because
way he
as he's
looked. It's
talking
the
to
way he
Benny
looked
and
at.
the
It's the
way
way he.
Benny looked at Tommy,
Yeah.
Tommy thinks that Ghost told Benny Tommy killed him.
That's
no.
what it is. Tommy thinks Ghost opened his mouth because when he said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I told him
Oh,
who did it," and notice how what they did in that scene was kind of intelligent because they didn't have Ghost say, "Oh, I told him a guy he
Yep.
used to." He just said, "I told him who did
Exactly.
it." Period.
They
well,
Yeah, that
made
was
sure
it.
not to say give him a name,
Yes.
because now Tommy's thinking Ghost knows I killed
Yes.
Proctor, and he told Benny I killed Proctor. And that whole conversation, short conversation that they have, and Tommy's reactions to Benny and Ghost having that conversation tells me that Tommy thinks that Ghost told him Benny killed
Yes.
Proctor.
100%.
I so much about that I really don't agree with. I really don't.
I think Tommy's gonna be
Just
reckless.
to bounce back onto the brotherhood of
Yep.
things. The fact that now Jason knows that them two have been both paying him, and now that them two are freaking each other's out, all those little secrets about who's paying who and so forth. So that robbery of them taking half the money, but them also establishing that we both been getting played again, and now even all of the secrets of how the payment stuff was working. I think that again, those two realized that they're more needed together than apart. And Jason hates the fact of them being together. That's why he flexed on them like that. He says like a matter of fact, I've never even seen Jason mad, I don't think. And I think this was legit the first time when he got out the car and he blew his top like a mad
Was he
supervisor.
really mad though?
He was mad, bro. He was just like,
Hey,
y'all are working
that's
together? He was mad.
I'm thinking the same thing. Is he really mad?
I
Because
mean,
he obviously has really spoken up that he believes Tommy's an idiot. And he believes
Yeah.
Ghost
I'm
should run the operation. I think Jason's more thinking of, if y'all are working together, I should be talking to James because I don't need Tommy.
but
Exactly.
I do agree with that. I think that's overall like his intelligence on how he wants to run his operation. But the fact that them two are working together and he doesn't have them apart, both paying him as he was playing them, he realized that he may become a liability because he know how powerful the two of them can be together by Tommy's recklessness and by James' strategicness. Like them two together is absolutely a problem for him.
I don't think he's
I
scared of
think you're
him.
focusing. I think you're focusing way more on Jason's reaction to seeing them together than focusing on
On
Tommy's
what?
reaction to Ghost telling Benny or Benny telling him that Ghost let him know who killed him. I
Yeah, I
think
mean, no,
that part was way more significant because Tommy's reaction at this point, everyone knows Tommy
That's why
is a
Tommy didn't get in
hothead
the
and
car.
Tommy's a hothead and Tommy don't think. So
Tommy,
he is not going to put two to two together. He's going to
this is
be
legit.
reckless about
This is
it.
legit Tommy's first time he's ever been scared. He legit when
I
he
don't think
came,
he's scared. I just think
bro. He ran in that house and he came and kissed
he's
Keisha and he
heated.
said, "I don't
Tommy,
know."
Tommy
This
is
is the first
terrified.
time he said he's not. 100%. I feel like this is the first time he's ever been scared. He came
Mm.
right in that house and ran right up to Keisha and kissed her, and she was like, "I don't know what she said," but he was like, the answer was, "I don't know," and like,
Can we have a very 3 minute quick bigger discussion on this whole thing with Benny?
yeah,
Can
hold on.
someone
Let's
explain to me?
let's let's
Because
let's 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 get right. I'm gonna get over these last few things and then we'll right to it. Tasha pulled a Thanos moment when it was time for her to do it herself. I was laughing like that. She was like, "Oh, y'all can't figure this out? I'll do this myself." When she walked out there, so it was good to see Tasha back being comfortable with being part of the plans. I think that Beanie, like we'll talk about it. I think he's ready to go. Like even before we got to the end, when was given the word in the club. I think this shows the psychology that he's not BSing when it comes down to something. And this is also the moment too where Ghost give him the name, and that's what Beanie's riding off of. Now, remember
but then y'all
I
had
think
did
because I
y'all had
think
that
Benny knows
conversation?
that
Did y'all
Ghost
had that
doesn't know.
conversation last week?
about what?
Because Proctor clearly told Benny, if I'm remembering wrong, please let me
I'm
know.
scared. I'm scared
That
of
probably
Tommy.
the issue is Tommy.
Yeah.
Proctor clearly told Benny that in the kitchen.
Yeah, he
That
told
part
him
of the
that
issue
Ghost
is Tommy.
is the better of the two. Ghost is the better
Yes,
of the two.
yes, he clearly
He
told Benny that.
definitely told him when they
And
were talking
I
when he
think
was talking to him in the
all that
kitchen.
But
conversation,
but
all
he
that conversation with Ghost and Benny did was confirm to Benny that Ghost don't know shit.
Yeah, that's because again,
That's what it confirmed to Benny.
yeah, when he
but he
gave him
also
that
did
name.
tell him. He also told him about him having to testify too for that other case. That other case is like
Yeah,
a real
because
thing.
that's what what's his name told him.
But that's the lie Proctor told
That's
Ghost
the
to
name
get
Proctor
to
told
the
him
penthouse.
last week when he
But
came into the apartment. He was like,
before he had that conversation, he told Benny the real issue, and it was with Tommy. That was
Tommy.
his issue,
Yeah, in the
and
kitchen
he let him know
when they
that
were telling when he was telling
because
him
think
I'm
about
gonna have to snitch or I need to snitch to protect my daughter. He was like,
it.
do what you
Exactly.
got to do. Like, what are you gonna do? And when he gave him the gun, but the truth of the matter is, he definitely told him of the two of them, Tommy is the one we need to worry about
Tommy's the
because
reckless one.
Tommy's reckless.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you notice Benny didn't say because James gave me the name. That's why I saved him. He said because Tariq brought my niece back to
My
me,
niece, yeah.
and that's why nothing can happen to him.
Benny's
I,
smart. I just feel Benny.
Here's the thing. They won with the stupid part. And again, I hate to say go back again, but it makes no sense that Proctor went to the penthouse if your cousin's a gangster with that many
Exactly.
people
When you
could
have
have just
Benny
hit
who's
you
a
out any
gangster, like that makes no
fucking
sense.
way. Yeah, it makes no sense. But I think it's setting up for the point of if we're going to even have a situation where Ghost through Benny sets up Tommy and gets Tommy killed, or Ghost tries to help use Benny to take out everyone.
I think that's what might happen. I think
I,
that's what might happen.
Because
Or
now
I
that
think
Ghost
Tommy's gonna
knows the
get
threat that
reckless
Jason is, he's gonna have to
because
kill Jason. You have
because
no
you remember
choice.
how you said Tommy's terrified? It has me thinking, who's Tommy scared of at this point? Is Tommy more scared of Ghost or is he more scared of Benny?
he's
I think
definitely
he's
not
more
scared of
scared of
ghosts.
Benny.
He's not scared of Ghost. He's scared of
He's not
Benny.
He's
scared of
scared
ghosts.
of Benny.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if you saw what the pull Benny had to make Vincent
Dude,
stop what he was doing,
that that move, that move
yeah.
gave you a new the bigger power player.
And it's funny because Ghost was standing. You know how Ghost always stands with his chest up when he's really confident about something, and when he was saying, "Oh, um, yeah, Benny, I told Benny who killed Proctor," with his chest
Yep.
up and his hands together, it looked 100% like to Tommy that, oh,
He snitched on me.
you snitched on me, bruh.
100%
but
so.
what y'all understand it? If Benny's is so fearless, then why? If he gave him Tommy's name, then why didn't he do nothing right then? We're
Because
still
he
alive.
never gave him Tommy's name because he didn't know who Ghost didn't know who did it.
Okay. So
I
that's
don't
my point.
believe that's
And I
I
think
don't
Benny's
believe
more
that's
calculated.
Benny doesn't
yeah, I
know
don't
it's
believe that's Benny's
Tommy.
play. I
Benny
don't think
doesn't
that's
know
Benny's
it's
play.
Benny doesn't know
Benny
it's Tommy.
definitely knows it's Tommy.
Then why didn't he do anything?
Because Benny's more calculated than that. I think Benny's
There's
biding
nothing to
his
be
time.
calculated. Tommy was by himself.
But he's
Tommy
biding
walked
his
off
time.
by
Why would he
himself.
do anything right there?
Why
He has
not?
no cause or reason to do it.
All Proctor
What the
told.
hell does he got to be
And
strategical
he
for
probably has
killing
the
somebody?
necklace.
Hold up. Listen, hold up on that. Hold up now. All Proctor told Benny is that Tommy was the more reckless one.
That's right.
That's it. He didn't necessarily say, "Hey, Tommy is trying to kill me," but he
Exactly. That's
told
what I'm
him
saying.
Tommy is the more reckless one. To me, the perception is to Tommy that Ghost knows that Tommy killed Proctor. That's how Tommy is thinking, that Ghost knows that
Yes,
I
but
killed Proctor.
exactly.
And then
But
you said it,
Benny doesn't.
the way Ghost was standing when he was having
Yes.
that conversation with Benny,
Yes.
in a look, because again, cinematography is highly important. The way they panned to make sure that Tommy's face was in that shot told
Mm-hmm.
me that the goal is to make Tommy think
Yes.
that Ghost told Benny you killed Proctor.
But
You know
Is
what?
that Tommy's a threat. He does not know what
think
Tommy
about it. When
did.
You know
Benny
what?
rolled up, this is where
Right.
I think
Hold
Benny
on.
has an idea. Because when he
I,
rolled up and he got out the car, he looked at Tommy, and Tommy
No,
was
that's
very
that.
abrasive. Tommy
Nope.
didn't look.
To me,
Yes,
that
he
has
did.
nothing to do with it because
All
Tommy is Tommy.
right.
why
All
are we
right.
even assuming? It's evident who knows what. Tommy told Keisha that he thinks that Ghost knows. So we know that. We know he's speculative of that. Ghost and Tasha knows because they had the conversation in the kitchen. And if Benny knows, he would have did something. Why would you say, "Oh, I know who killed my cousin. I'm going to tell Tommy that I know who killed my cousin, but I'm not going to do anything right now.
Okay, so maybe he's
Why have all
speculating.
my
How
goons
about how
right
about
here?"
maybe he's speculating and he's biding his time, so he
No,
knows something for sure.
it's just like Lucas is saying. He looked at Tommy because he knows Tommy's reckless. He knows Tommy
Yes,
knows things. He knows
100%.
Tommy's can do things, but he doesn't think that Tommy killed Proctor.
Proctor.
Otherwise,
No.
why would I wait? Tariq is the
Yeah.
only person that matters right now, and the
Yes, he
reason why
doesn't think that part. 100% so. He doesn't think that Tommy killed Proctor yet, but he just knows Tommy is reckless.
but
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 the look is what throws Tommy off. That's
exactly
all. The look was just to throw Tommy off.
and that's why Tommy is scared. If that's why
Yep.
Tommy's the scariest ever been, because now he's like, Ghost knowing is one person, but somebody who just made Vincent grab his balls and how powerful he is
Exactly.
a huge issue. Why my little team of the three amigos,
Like they would. They
uh,
again. We just need that discussion that why is Benny so powerful all of a sudden, and why have we not seen this through 6 years? But that's neither here nor there. I'm not even power logic. That's all power logic.
I mean,
Benny is amazingly powerful all of a sudden because Proctor should have been playing that card
it's
a
by the
long time ago.
right, but he's never needed it.
Yes, nigga. He's been running away for his life for like the last
He,
3 years. He's
he's been
always needed
he's
it.
but no. He's always been scared of how crazy Tommy could be, but he always knew he had the trump card over Tommy with that chip.
He went
So
to a penthouse because he thought Tommy was going to kill him
exactly. And
instead
now
of going
listen,
to the cousin with the army.
and because you missed last episode, we do know that Proctor's only last wish was to protect his daughter. He cared zero about himself.
But
He
can I
said,
ask you guys a
But
question though?
but again, why would the penthouse
Why would
protect
he
him
go to the
more than
penthouse?
Benny?
Like of all the places in the
Benny
world,
has an
if I
army.
have Benny, why would
He
I
has an
go to the
army.
penthouse? That makes no sense to me.
Because at this point, we can assume from what we saw Benny do with Vincent that Proctor knew Benny was that powerful. If you want your daughter safe, it is very simple. Send her to Benny.
he did,
No one's going to touch her.
but he did.
At the
Because
end
yeah,
of the
Tommy's
episode,
not walking up into Benny's hood or
at
But
the
house
end of the
but
episode,
he did.
with the.
But also this guy is a lawyer, so you can't just hang around Benny all willy nilly.
This is
but
true.
your daughter can be dropped off.
Yeah, he did that. That's fine. And by
That-
custody, he would be the next person to be the guardian for her. So
I mean,
like
but I went to go drop my daughter off and I stayed a couple days. I mean, is it that? What's the ethical ramifications for staying with your cousin who happens to be a known gangster?
Well, the thing is, he was safe into the house. The liability is Tariq. Tariq is the liability everywhere. Tariq has been a liability for Vincent, but we're not going to call Vincent dumb by trusting Tariq, but he's been a liability.
Vincent got
Did
$2 million.
Vincent trust Tariq?
No, he
Did
didn't.
he?
At first, he
Did he
did.
trust Tariq
At
to
first,
do
I don't
what?
think he ever did. I don't think
I
he
don't
ever
think
did. I
he
think
ever
Vincent
did.
had always
He
been
was
using
using him.
Tariq.
Matter of fact, we know that because when Tariq first gave him the pills and they asked him, why are you working with Tariq? And Vincent said, if I can use him to keep Tommy and his father in my pocket, I'll do it. He never
yeah.
trusted Tariq.
But also
He
his
trust Tariq.
also his family members was just like, what is it about this guy that makes you trust him so much? So
Saying I don't trust the kid.
I mean,
He kept on saying that.
but at the same time, although he's saying he's not trusting him, he is still trusting him
I
because
think before he knew
he had to carry out this plan.
before he knew Tariq was a St. Patrick, he kind of liked him. I wouldn't say trusted
Yes.
him. He kind
When
of
he was with
liked him.
Kanan, he liked
And
him.
then when
The
he
moment he found
figured
out
out he was a St. Patrick, oh,
no trust was ever there. In all
yeah.
honesty, Vincent's plan worked perfectly. The
It,
only thing that threw it off is somebody with more muscle that he had the slightest idea that James was affiliated with came in the picture.
but also Tariq never slipped his mouth about carrying
No.
out this plan. So at the end of the day, Vincent got $2 million. We'll see if Tariq gets any bit of that. But
Already know that.
although it's a stretch of trust, but it is trust because he did significantly help him carry out a grand heist of $2 million in 48 hours, regardless how you look at
We
it.
told him, what did he say? The moment I get the money, I'm just going to kill all three of them. He didn't care what happened to Tariq.
Who care
The
about
goal was
Tariq?
to get the money.
Again, he still had to trust them to do the job. Like he
No.
I
had to
mean,
At
do
that
it.
point,
I think
Why
Tariq,
you
he knew
why you
Tariq was
working this?
motivated by the money. He knew
Yeah,
Tariq was always
exactly.
motivated by the money
What you
and
doing? A
very
scheme?
short-sighted.
It's not
Actually,
He didn't
me
have to
trusting
trust
actually,
him.
you to
actually,
steal a
actually,
scheme.
Tariq is more motivated about the drug dealing aspect because we need to talk about next week's episode in a second. But
Jesus.
he's definitely. I mean, we'll get there
Yeah.
1 second. There's something else we haven't talked about, and it's a quick little moment that happened outside of truth after the interview,
Oh
after the
yeah,
news
she wants to
person
ride his
said
dick. Period.
after after the news person said a moment of truth, which was the worst pun I've ever heard. Tate killed that interview too, which was absolutely fun. But again, Tate was in a deer in the headlights because he kept looking back because he's like, Ramona, what should I say, basically? But Tate's not the focal point here. It is absolutely Ramona and Tasha.
Oh,
Ramona loves James Patrick so so much that
Ramona wants to get
she wants him
yeah
so much because Ramona, I mean, we don't really know
her
how smart
background.
she is, but we
Yeah.
have an idea that she's smart. But it is very awkward that they said tonight has been a interesting night. She talked about the liability aspect of it, knowing that everyone was going to get everything back. She also know that James was the one who came up with the plan in the first place. Because that's when they had that little meeting and Tate was being dumb as usual. He was the one saying, how about people just bring in cash? And it's crazy to think that Ghost was thinking that far in advance about this grand scheme of how this can work and collaborating Tasha's idea as well and putting it all together. Like it's just beyond genius. But when Tasha when Tasha came and got Ghost, it was like we gotta pick up my son. And they looked at each other like Tasha, Ramona, and rolled out. I was like, yo.
See, it's very easy. Ramona wants to fuck Ghost, and
Is that what
I
I
think
know
she
that's
has
what we
a.
thought
I
at
think she.
first? Is
Huh?
that still what we thinking though? That she just wants to fuck Ghost?
I think she
I,
I
has.
I
I
She
see the
sees.
bigger play here. I see
I
the
think she
much
sees
much
Ghost
bigger
as
play.
a partner, like a very strong. I
I
think she
think go
sees him as a
go
partner,
further.
bro. Go
Go
ahead.
further. Go further than that.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
She's supposed to be a political advisor, someone who is great at strategizing to put people in places of power. Do you know what
mm-hmm.
she sees in James?
Yep,
She
the next.
actually sees exactly.
Yep,
I ain't even gotta
yep,
see it because I know you
mm-hmm.
saw what I saw.
Yep,
Yes, she sees the person who actually should be the next governor. It ain't Tate. It's him. And
yep.
she can sense that it's him. And she's doing everything humanly possible to make him comfortable because it's going to get to a point possibly where she attempts to fuck Tate over and put James in that position instead.
At 100% with the gutters up, easily a strike down the bowling alley right there. It is so evident now. Yes, yes. And if sex has to be a device used to ultimately
To
get
do
him
it.
over,
Yes.
so be it. She
So
wants
I
it
ask
for
you a
herself,
question
but
real quick.
ultimately, the grand scheme of things,
I'll ask you
she's
guys a question real quick. So when she says to Ghost, everything came together so well for this all to happen, the robbery, you're covered with liability. Do you think she has no clue, zero clue that there could be a possibility that
I
James
believe
Henry
she knows
Patrick's
everything was set up by him.
all
100%
right,
so.
yeah,
all
that's
But
right.
what I said.
she's thinking the plan. Like for someone to plan that way, Jesus Christ,
Also,
you're the
too,
perfect politician.
also too, I think, and like I've been saying in the beginning of the episode, Tate has not been able to make the decision. Ramona is famous for being an advisor all over
Yep.
on the news and
Mhm.
everything. The first thing when it comes down to being qualified for a job is seeing how one person is on this level and one person's on this level.
True,
And the
fact,
fact
true.
that we know politics is crooked, and regardless of wherever this money's going, the fact that she was like, Tate is over there doing an interview looking back at me, can't even talk about his own history of him being in law enforcement and saving the day without looking back at me. And Ghost is back here just chilling, came up with the most grand scheme of things. And even to the point that I even would go as far as saying when that gun was pointed at her head, she knew the whole time. She was just like, it's cool.
Mhm.
And she looked over, and not even that, even when wanted to go vanilla, she looked over and sat and said, the smartest person in the room is going to figure this out. And when James stepped in that middle and saved it, and also why I said that Tasha and her moment was good, there was some envy going on because
Mm-hmm,
Tasha,
100%
when
so.
she stepped up for Ramona, when he stepped up for Ramona, Tasha, as you talk about cinematography, that pan over, Tasha was a blur.
Exactly. Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
And on the counterpart to this, Ghost looks at Ramona as a strategist as well too, and she's upfront about everything she's doing as far as the Tate campaign, the money and everything. I wonder who got that money, that accountant money, the accountant stuff is. They never
Yep.
said, huh?
right,
Hey,
right.
dude.
Who else could it been?
Everything is making sense because she's been willing to go. In all honesty, she's been willing to do whatever she had to do, including breaking political laws to ensure that Tate is advancing. When she
Yep,
told Tasha, "We'll do what we got to do. It's just the
yep,
daycare you want. That's
yep,
fine. We'll do that." That's
yep,
highly legal for her to do that.
yep,
But she did it because that was necessary, and she sees James as that same person. You're going to do whatever it
yep,
takes to get us to the finish line.
yep,
Tate is too scared, and nothing works with him at
yep.
all. Yeah,
Yeah, and like
every
again, she
suggestion
fixed
is
the books
James'
for
idea.
him. Didn't even have to ask him. Didn't even tell him. Didn't even know anything about him borrowing the money for the campaign. But it was fixed to make sure that the
Yep,
morale and the vibe for that night, the grand stage was set.
yep,
Period. You talk
100%
about a
so.
cohesive team working together for the grand scheme of things, where even Ghost is not even fully sure what's happening. Totally, these dinners that they're having are going to become more and more significant, and they're not just friendly dinners. They're going to shift over from planning to luxury to planning again. Like it's just going to all become one and the same for them soon.
Right.
And we see
Definitely.
how Tasha is when she's reckless and she does her plan and she's moving weight by herself. And
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
so, all right. So since we're coming up on time a little bit,
You want to do Dre real quick because I feel like he needs to be talked about in this episode a little bit.
yeah,
Cool.
two things with Dre. Matter of fact, three things I want to run about, and you guys just jump in on with it. The fact that Tommy thinks that Ghost is taking Proctor and Angela's death on the same level. What is it that you make of that? Also, Tate with the gun. Tate has obviously James's gun, which was shot. It's a crime scene. I'm sure
I
that
was
gun's.
waiting for I was waiting for you to get to that part
I,
because
I'm,
that's clearly the obvious part here.
I'm sure there's going to have to be some questions with that.
Ooh,
The
buddy
other
is
thing
cooking.
is, what is Dre's position when he found out that Two Bitten was in there and he saw and he left? He just got suspicious and he rolled out. What is Dre thinking here? And then the other biggest thing, which I don't even know where I got in here somewhere. Oh yeah, it's right here. Yeah, no sacks this episode, but also, are we not going to see club footage from that night? Because all them Bammers came in there without their mask at one point.
Hmm. Wait. No, 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 no.
Oh yes, they
What's his
did. They
name
were in
there?
suits. They
Was
came.
Alphonse there?
Yeah, he came in, and that's when Dre saw him
No,
do the
Alphonse was
deal.
never in. I think Alphonse came in when everybody else came in. Alphonse had on a bubble coat.
No,
Remember? Because he was out
like
with
a
Vince
Nike, he
smoking.
had like a Nike track jacket. He came in and he sold the bouncer something because when he was talking about the other side deal, Dre was like, "What other side deal that you working on? I'm gonna get paid regardless." That's when Dre started snooping around, and that's when he started noticing people. That's when he saw
Yeah.
Alphonse in the front.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he saw Two Bit and
Oh
Spanks
yeah,
come in
yeah.
with
Alphonse
suit.
was definitely in there.
So club footage, anyone?
Nah, because
Power
James is
angle.
going to cut.
Yeah,
James is going to cut the
it
feed.
happened.
The
It's
feed was
done.
cut.
We're moving on.
We,
Yeah.
The
we don't
thing
have
is,
security.
yeah, the thing is, yes, they're gonna have to address that, which I think they've been doing good so far. I would expect to see.
Alphonse.
Oh, did it?
He works at
Yeah,
Truth.
Alphonse is dead. That's
He
it.
works at Truth. So if he set up the robbery, he cut the feed beforehand.
Yep.
I think the angle you played up is most important is that gun. Because once Tate fires that gun, the police take in custody that gun. Is Tate going to say he got that gun from James? That makes no sense.
Right.
I mean, either way, they're just gonna have to. I mean, he could just be honest and say that he had it just in case something went down, and he knew that Tate was ex-police. I mean, they're gonna have to it's believable or
When's the
not. They
last
just got
time
to
we
address
saw
it.
that gun? When's the last time we seen that gun used?
Investigation for Angela. No. The investigation for what's his
That
name?
is that the last time James has shot that gun,
The last time he's used it was
or did he shoot earlier this season with that gun?
I mean, they'll play it off.
Didn't
I
he
mean,
shoot
it's a reasonable question.
Didn't
They'll
he
play it
shoot
off.
the ambulance with
Because
that gun?
Yeah, I was gonna say they'll play it
any
off
bullet holes,
regardless.
any bullet holes with that gun is going to get tied back to Tate.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, the gun will be the most interesting thing within these next two episodes for sure. It's a lot to speculate on. It's a lot
That's the
to.
second gun this season that is important.
What's the first one?
You really the one Keisha handled.
Oh
And
yeah, I forgot. Oh, that.
The one that she licked before she threw into the ocean.
She
Yeah,
said,
I forgot about that. All right, so yeah, any other comments about Angela and Proctor being on the same level? Tommy thinks that ghost psychology is taking both of their death on the same level. That's a powerful statement for him to be thinking that.
I just think Tommy's.
That shows he's an idiot.
I didn't think anything
How would
of
he
it
take those
personally.
deaths on the same level? No, I think that proves just how out of touch Tommy is.
Yeah, he's so scared.
Yeah,
He
I just think
he
that's a
don't
Tommy
even think
thing.
now.
I don't think I didn't take it personally.
Well, here's what I'm thinking, and it's because again, the logic of Tommy being scared for the first time ever is that the fact that he brought in Beanie and how drastic he went to bring this guy in, and the fact that he had to go get him because of Proctor's death, and because Tommy fears this guy, it's like, yo, this man just brought in the military for me. And I don't know why.
And I have the three amigos.
I don't know why.
Yo, Tommy shook, man.
All right, let's talk about next week's episode, which I forgot what the title is, but it's all good. But anyway, talk about the trailer for
all those notes. I have all those notes. If you don't have the title to the episode,
I broke down because I didn't look it up. I just watched the
cool.
episode.
Cool. My bad. I'm just.
I broke it. I broke down some key points for next week's episode, and you guys can get in there and tell me what you think. The biggest thing obviously is Ghost telling Tariq, don't telling Tariq, you're not smarter than me. Don't ever think that you're smarter than me. Tariq and Dre.
He's not smart at all. Period. In my opinion,
really?
He's not smart in any capacity.
We can't say that because so far this season, Tariq has been smarter than Ghost at every turn humanly possible. He's been smarter than.
I don't think Tariq is smart in any capacity.
Personally. Really? He just set up a scheme that had his father and his uncle. And they at no point in time knew he was personally involved in it.
Yeah. Yep.
He set up a scheme that did not work. He lost his drug empire in school. He got.
Did he?
Come on, man.
Did
He's
he?
not.
Did he?
He moved on to better. He moved on to big things.
Yeah, his dad lost his drug empire. Did that make him stupid?
True.
Right.
Let's be realistic here. Tariq has been steps ahead of him so far. He's using a point that he's his son to be that many steps ahead of him. Every time you turn around, James is a magically shocked that Tariq is doing something.
Because
That should
James
that
is
should
not
be
hands on with
obvious.
Tariq. James is dealing with other things and
No,
not
no,
paying
no, no,
attention.
no.
Do you think
If
if James was
that,
paying attention to Tariq, he wouldn't notice these things?
you
He's
think,
also he's also a
do
kid, so you're not gonna like be with him
you
24
think
7.
Tariq would
He
be
put
doing
him he
if
put him
uh,
in private school so
actually
he don't have to deal
actually
with him. You know what
didn't?
happens when your parents take you to
No,
boarding school? They're not
no.
trying to deal with you. They're not
That's
trying to pay attention to you.
not
That's the whole reason for
Mo,
boarding
Mo,
school.
Mo,
Mo,
why
Mo,
why are you even
Mo.
speculating on that? We
Okay.
know why he put him in private school because he's trying to provide for him to have a better life than he
Yes,
did.
Not
it had nothing to do with him not caring for him. I don't know where you
not
got
trying to
that.
deal with him. You're not trying to
You
deal
you
with
clear
Tariq.
you're clearly losing it if you think that's why he put him in private school.
Yeah,
He
okay.
literally is a hood dude who wants his son to have a better life than him. Private school is exactly where they send their kids to.
It's
The
Tariq
it's
was in
problem
a
it's
Tariq
is
was in a private school, and then he took him out of that private school and took him to a more secluded school.
another private school. He literally got kicked out of one, and he paid to put him in a more expensive private
and
school.
and by this preview for next week's episode, he's also talking about doing it one more time. So
Gain more
Goddamn,
weight.
you are draining money into this kid
yeah,
because you like, I need him to have a better life than me. But the reason why Tariq has clearly been smarter than him is because Tariq has used all of that against him.
yeah.
Every bit of it he's used against him. And that's what you do. You find someone's weakness and you use it against him. It just
Tariq
so
gonna
happens
die.
that Ghost's weakness is Tariq.
Tariq
Well,
gonna die.
That's
Ghost is gonna
who's
Tariq
kill
going
gonna
to
all
kill
his
him?
die.
kids.
Who's going to kill him?
Also, okay, let
We
me let
gonna
me finish talking
see.
about the points for next week's episode. Mo loves this. Somebody's gonna
Nah, but
die
seriously,
thing.
didn't you see at the end of the preview, Tariq is walking up on somebody and he looks surprised?
Okay, so again,
I think that means
Tariq and Dre looks like they're about to work something out. Dre's looking to get back in the game, obviously, but Tariq is asking Dre for product. Dre saying he got this scheme where he's gonna get all this product all of a sudden,
Mhm.
which we know what that is because Ghost kind of told him about how he can be in a replacement for Jason. So obviously Dre is about to do something stupid and go talk to Jason, and Jason's not about nothing but
Oh,
legit money,
one
so
more
that's not
thing. So
gonna
do you
work.
think Dre gets his kid back? Because apparently Tate might help with that. That came up in the conversation in the when
Was it was it Tate that was helping with that, or was that Ramona helping with that?
It was Ramona. Yep.
Hmm?
But
Wasn't
here's the
Tate?
here's the biggest thing this preview that I think at least we're going to spend the last minutes talking about
Keisha.
it too is I'll leave it last. But the other thing is by the looks of somebody being in the back of a trunk and Tommy and his associates are looking over. Doesn't look good for either Dre or Zig. I don't know what somebody's in the back of that trunk and all of them are looking over. Keisha also has a bandage on. Have no clue what happened to her. But the
Hmm.
biggest thing is that Keisha's made two very, very pivotal comments about how long are we going to be in this game, and
Yep.
number two, Tariq is not the same kid that he used to be,
Yep.
and she seems to be on him. Can I tell you what the issue is with that? She has a problem with Tariq. Guess who
Yep.
never has a problem with Tariq, no matter how bad he
Tommy.
does anything?
Tommy. No matter what Tariq does, Tommy will always come for that kid, and Tariq
Well,
knows it.
well, Keisha. Looks like he done pressed the wrong buttons finally,
But
and
again, let me just say this real quick. Again, if that ain't proven how smart Tariq is, that he's used that connection to do damn near everything this year. Every time you turn around, it's Uncle Tommy this, Uncle Tommy that. He's played his father and Uncle Tommy against each other, and he knows what he's doing when he's doing it. Like this kid he's clearly Tasha's kid. I think that's what hurts Ghost more than anything. He is Tasha's kid because damn it, if it's not set enough
I
for
also
him
don't think
to
Tasha's
make the
that
same,
intelligent, but it's alright.
well,
Because I
yeah,
think Tasha's book
because
smart, but I don't think she's street smart. But it's cool.
you
I
don't
mean,
think he's
she,
street smart.
she definitely got that club operation going. I mean, that right there is just.
Yeah,
That was
I'm about
not
to say,
difficult though.
I
what,
you
what, are you crazy?
You're saying it like it was difficult. Again, she's come
It
from
was
where
so,
she's come
it
from.
was
Of course,
so,
she knows
it
how
was
to
so,
run certain
it was
things.
so, it was
Is the
so
you
issue.
can't
obvious
you can't
that
say of
no one else
course.
came
You
to
just
that
said she
idea.
wasn't smart. You can't say of course. That's not a
Yeah,
given.
exactly. Because it was such an obvious idea that no one else came up with it. Absolutely, no one else came up with that idea. That's how
Yeah.
obvious it was. It
All
was
right.
so it's so obvious that she is so not street smart that she's the only. Do you know that cleaning books is strictly a street smart thing to do?
She's an accountant. She went to school for accounting. What are you talking about? Of course, she knows how
Do
to
you
do this
do
shit.
she know how to clean books because she went to school. Pull an accountant right now off the street. I
How many
guarantee you they
white
don't know how
collar
to clean
criminals?
books.
How many white collar criminals have gone to jail for cleaning
Well,
books? You're
I don't
acting
know,
like
but
it's that.
I watched
she
that movie
cleaned
Hustlers, and a
three.
lot of those Wall Street people clearly they know they were getting got.
Cleaning books is a white collar crime. Why are
She
you acting
cleaned.
like it's
She
the most
cleaned
black
three.
collar shit ever?
She cleaned $3 million through a daycare
That's
and a hair salon.
Because she knew what needed to be
Nigga, let
ordered
me
and
repeat
she
this
knew
again.
it needed to come in
Let me
cash.
let me
Come
repeat this again.
on.
She cleaned
She
three
went
million
to school
dollars
for
in
accounting.
2
People know how
days.
to clean books as
All right,
accountants. Don't act.
that's
Don't do that.
there's not one accountant that can know how to clean $3 million in 48 hours through a hair
She's
salon.
been doing this for years. She
Oh,
didn't
so
just
you telling me?
start
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. So you telling me
today.
for she's so you telling me for years she's been breaking the law and cleaning books and yet she's not street smart? Are you making the mistake of thinking because they're white people or they consider it white collar crime that
No, no,
it's
no,
not
no, no, no,
street
no, no,
crime?
no, no. This is what I'm
That's
saying.
literally the
You are
idea
around
of
the.
being a street
So are
hustler.
you telling me? So are you telling me that Proctor probably doesn't know how to do certain things?
What do you mean?
You are around the criminal
Uh,
element. You pick up certain things, but you have your
whoa,
specialties.
whoa, whoa.
That
I'm
is her
sorry.
specialty.
She is the criminal element because she's clearly the one who set Ghost up to take out Kanan. They established that in season one. Do you not understand that Ghost's whole empire was built by Tasha? They've
mhm.
always established that through this entire series that
Did
she
they?
built his empire.
He
Also,
built the club.
if I'm not mistaken, Can also referred to Tasha as the smart one.
Yep, 100% so. Like
So
everyone knows
I
that
don't
she
in
think
that
he
is the
did
hallway
because
scene,
nothing she's done in a couple of episodes has shown me that she understands what
she just
she's dealing with.
she just got a dope boy to give her $1 million in product, and she amazingly sold it and cleaned it within 24 hours.
yeah. You know the other thing about Tasha too is that Tasha again, I said she's been the smartest person this entire series, besides these first maybe 4 episodes when she was low sprung on this guy that just disappeared on her, and she's never felt that weak because no one's ever done her that way. As
I
much as
think that I think that's what it was too. As we get further along with this whole thing with her and Silva, I
yeah.
think the issue was between her losing her daughter and then between her losing him, she equated it as everyone's leaving me, along with going through everything with Ghost. She was lost,
Hmm.
completely lost.
Yeah,
And
she
now you're seeing that because again, Ghost getting emotional about Tasha moving product all of a sudden. Why would he care? You know why he cares? Because he's thinking, damn it, if you move a product for someone else, is this person going to be bigger than me?
he damn sure said he wanted to size him up. He said,
Yes, fact.
I
Yeah.
need to go
Instantly
check
Okay.
became
him
jealous
right
of it.
now. I need to see if he's
Instantly,
legit. She was like,
instantly
yo.
became jealous of her. Like that's an obvious move of someone saying, "Damn it, I may be the dude who killed people, but I damn sure can't have the person who was smart enough to put together my organization do this shit for
Yeah.
somebody else."
Also, too,
Okay.
I want to say
If you
that I
say
felt
so.
like this was one of the most intense episodes because although nobody technically died, and that club scene was getting well, I forgot Alphonse did get got, but that club scene was
I don't care
definitely
about
had me.
Alphonse. We seen him one time in this whole
I
series.
I was thoroughly. I didn't know where the anchor was going at for a minute, man. And for a minute, I was just like, "Ee, this is not looking good." Like, I don't know. Also, how come Whisperface wasn't at that meeting? What's his name? Who does Ghost always asks whenever he need a
My man
favor?
for money, my
Yeah.
guy for money. Why was he?
Uh.
It would have
Uh.
made sense for Ghost to go back to him for another $1 million, but
But
clearly they're not
but
going to do the obvious thing.
but that's the thing too. That's how I knew Ramona was in it because when they said the books got clear, I said, "Oh, it's clearly." I was like, "Oh wait, he has nothing to do with this at all." And then it makes
Yep,
it very clear because he's not even there as a donor. Period.
not at all.
Hmm.
So I was like, somebody. And then Ghost with confidence says, "Doesn't matter how I do it, it's done." And like I said,
Yep,
it would be.
Right.
I
Also, but if you also look at her face when the whole thing was going down, she didn't look phased. She didn't look that like, oh my god, like she
what?
looked as calm as Ghost looked,
But that's what
which
I
is
said.
crazy.
That's what I said earlier. Is that she is smart. She knew. She knows. She sees the bigger picture. And when he stepped up to save her, when she says it's not the first time in the gun, no matter if that's a true or false, she played the part to make sure that everything that night went as it should have been. And she was not going to be a liability to interrupt. I mean, think about this. Her being frantic or anything at that moment could have compromised anything.
Everything, yeah, yeah.
So,
and then But then that's why we get back to the look between her and Tasha.
Yeah.
She is literally the first woman that Ghost has been with that Tasha sees as someone who can completely replace her.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when he was with Angela, he still couldn't completely replace Tasha
As
because
they
Angela could not do everything that Tasha could do.
as they've been
Ramona can
trying for
do everything
as
that
they've been
Tasha.
trying for 5 seasons of trying to establish a way to them create their own life, no matter however bit of fairy telling those two was telling each other. Us as fans even know that it was never going to work, and more or less we knew Tasha knew Ghost more than anybody that they know that no matter what, it was not. And that's why
Yep.
Tasha stayed close by as much as she could because she knew at some point it was going to revert back. And they had their little makeup moments at quick points, and even them role playing together as well too. But so anyway, I think we're definitely done for this episode. I don't know, did we cover everything? I feel
Yeah, I
like I
think we did cover everything. I still want to know what Tate's plan for getting what Tate is gonna do to get his daughter, homie's daughter back, Dre's daughter back. Like they
Stop
brought
saying
that
Tate.
up.
Stop saying Tate. It won't be Tate. It will have nothing to. It will be Ramona's
Exactly,
plan
because they brought
to
that
get him
up
out.
and it just was never brought up again the rest of the episode. So
Oh no, Ramona told Tate, "Hey, I remember when she said, here, this is my contact person at,' and she gave him an organization to contact to find out the information.
right.
Like that's all Ramona's plan.
Because Ramona did say it would look good if you help a black man get his daughter that's legally.
Yep.
She's 100% right though. For political sense, it makes it look perfect.
Yeah, it's publicity,
But
but yeah,
Dre's
But
gonna
but
probably die before that.
but yeah, that's also just for donors' sake.
Yeah,
It's not really a stake. It's not
yeah.
going to jeopardize anything that she's doing for
nah,
Ghost.
Oh, yeah,
right.
not a, she can care
Yeah,
less.
and on top of that too, that move ultimately helps Ghost. Period. So
Yes,
I don't know. The one thing that again this episode we didn't get no sacks. We didn't get no more about homegirl that Tariq went to school with. So I'm expecting to see a lot of them come next week's episode. But this episode was absolutely. I gotta think it was one of the most. I think it was the most beautiful shot episodes ever. The cinematography was just amazing in this episode. The cinematography told a lot of the story. If you watch it on mute, the cinematography told you a lot was going on, especially the most pivotal scene with the transaction with Vincent and Tariq. Like the cinematography tells you enough right there, listening to it on mute. But I thought the story was good, cinematography was good, and I thought as far as advancing character development and the plot overall for the season was, episode 6 is hella dope. Matter of fact, I don't even want to speak this up, but if this was to be the break for the season, this would be batshit crazy to leave it on because there's a lot right
The
now
break
that
is what, episode 8? The
yeah,
break is supposed to be episode
yep,
8.
yeah.
Yeah.
This would have been I. Speaking of that, episode 8's got to be nuts. Just thinking about what they did with this episode, so I guess we will see. But yeah, any other closing remarks or any other moments I want to get in real quick before we end this out?
that's it.
Tasha got a
I
dope boy to give her $1 million in product to move in 24 hours. A
No. It
nigga
wasn't a
who was
million.
just a
It wasn't.
nigga how much was? Remember when they said we need at least another million in product?
Yeah,
It
they
was
brought it.
shit. It was shit product.
Yeah, no, they
Remember,
brought
because
it back.
we only
They
got it for
said,
40. We
yeah,
only made 40 because this
they
product
said
is
they
like
got 2 stars
4.7.
on Yelp.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I
Nah,
mean, no. But the amount of product he had was supposed to be the amount they needed. It's just that, you know,
okay, yeah,
when
because
you're
they
in the
came
streets,
back. They was just
you
like,
don't buy bad product. Yeah, you don't
yeah,
buy bad product. That just does not happen.
yeah. So obviously, and also too, just while you bring that up too, that's a good point for everybody to know. Wow, I said I don't know who's in the back of the car. Maybe it's Zig, but maybe it's not Zig because if his product's not good,
A
Street
threat.
Crowd, a threat, exactly. No reason to
wait,
off
but
that
wouldn't he
guy.
have corners?
No,
He's not a threat. They don't even know the guy. That's the
Yeah, they don't
thing.
even know him. Yeah,
exactly.
so
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he's not a threat at all.
but I don't know who's in the back of that. Somebody's in the back of that car. It could be Alphonse is with the feds or his body's with the feds. I don't know. Somebody's in the back of that car. I have no clue.
so
It's
somebody,
Lakeisha.
another person is dying this episode,
It's
next
Lakeisha.
episode is what you're
It's
saying.
Lakeisha. It's Lakeisha.
Not with Tommy
Swear.
looking over it like that.
Yeah, it's
Lucas has
Lakeisha.
been calling for Lakeisha or her son's
The
death
son, I'm
since
telling you, one of them
episode
is really
one.
gonna. Clearly, one of them. She is literally setting up to die. I keep on saying we got to get out this business, and that's the one thing Tommy has always made it clear he was not going to stop doing.
Nah,
Ever.
Tommy's never gonna get out the business. Yeah.
So it's Lakeisha. She's in the trunk. Tommy's going to have to kill her because she's going to try to do something to Tariq.
I feel like you will be so happy if it's Lakeisha because you've
Oh,
been
she's going to
calling for
die.
it since
She's going to
episode
die
1.
this year. She's going to die in this final season, so I'm not worrying about it. But it could be her in this episode coming up.
I don't see her dying, but her getting locked up seems more thing because I think her dying at this plays a bigger tone on Tasha's role too. So her going to jail just
If
gets
she
her
goes to
out
jail,
of it.
if she goes to jail, then they have to kill her because she gonna snitch.
Oh, she is. She's gonna
Yeah,
6ix9ine the whole
that
fucking
they are
thing.
not gonna let her go to jail. She gotta die.
She's Takashi 6ix9ine if she gets caught.
All right.
Son.
Well. Anyway, tune in next week for this episode. We'll be back for episode 7. All the information is in the description. We can follow everybody's channel and so forth. But I hope you guys like listening. Leave some comments down below on y'all theories, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.